What does this mean for the banks? Is this the second wave of the crisis that everyone's been talking about? Let's ask Peter Schiff. He's president of Euro Pacific Capital, also author of How an Economy Grows and Why It Crashes. So, Peter, you want to call it a second wave? You want to call it a double dip? What's really going on with the economy right now?
There are a lot of waves to come. We're standing in the ocean. There's actually some tsunamis that haven't hit. But, you know, the foreclosures are not the problem. They're part of the solution. The problem is that a lot of people bought homes that they couldn't afford, and they actually need to leave those homes so that people who can afford them can buy them. They need to rent something that they can afford. But what this is going to do, it's going to hurt the banks in two ways. Number one, it increases the risk of making a mortgage, because if it's difficult to foreclose, that increases your risks, which means mortgage credit is going to be harder to come by, mortgage rates are going to rise. More importantly, you have a moral hazard here as homeowners or people who are in homes that they really can't afford. Once they realize how difficult it is to get them out with a foreclosure, there is a very powerful incentive to stop making your mortgage payments, because you know you're going to be living in that house for a long time before you ever have to make another payment.
So, Peter, according to this report in the Washington Post, this is what's happening. Consumers, the courts, we see the states now, attorneys generals getting involved to try to figure out what exactly is going on in this mortgage market. Now this report is saying that major investors, hedge funds, pension funds are going to banks and saying, hey, if you made a mistake, you're going to pay me, and you're going to pay me now. And that's going to cause a huge hole in the bank's balance sheet, that balance sheet that we, the taxpayer, just worked to repair.
Yeah, I think for the people who own these mortgages, this is like a loophole. It's like a get-out-of-jail-free card, because they don't want them to begin with. They're losing money. But if it turns out that the banks and the securitization process somehow did something wrong, and now the owner of those mortgages doesn't really have the right to foreclose, they can come back and say, hey, this is fraud. These are not legitimate. I want my money back. I want to cancel this transaction. And if we have to move these mortgages back onto the books of the banks, you better believe they're going to fail again. And of course, who's going to have to get stuck with the bill for another bailout? It's going to be the taxpayers. And of course, I still think all these banks are going to fail again, because the real crisis is the dollar crisis that could hit next year. That could send interest rates through the roof. And all the banks that we bailed out, they're going to be coming with a hand for another handout. Only we're going to have to give them a much bigger bailout next time. So, Peter, and we have seen just recently the dollar really take a dive. You see gold trading higher. I don't want to get too much into the trading scheme of things, but let's talk a little bit about the solution here, because the American economy has proven to be resilient even in tough times. How do we fix this? Well, you know, it actually hasn't been resilient. The problem was every time we had a crisis, the Fed shot it up with another round of stimulus. So all we got is more drugs when what we needed was to go cold turkey. So I think we're really headed for, you know, almost like an overdose on this government stimulus. And you're seeing that in the currency markets. The dollar is hitting a record low today against the Australian dollar, against the Singapore dollar. It's almost a record low against the yen. It's at a record low against the Swiss franc. It's at a record low against gold. You know, look at the price of silver. It's up over $1 in the last 2 days. All of this shows the dollar losing value. Look at commodity prices. Look at agriculture. And all of this is going to impoverish a great number of Americans, because the cost of living is going to go up dramatically. Every American is taking a pay cut every time the dollar loses value. This is a direct result of what the Federal Reserve is doing, and they're doing this because they refuse to allow us to confront reality. The reality of the enormity of this problem that was created by years and years of bad monetary policy, bad fiscal policy. You know, we did it under Bush. We're repeating it under Obama. This economy is a complete mess. We need to allow the free market to cure it. Peter, let me just stop you there,
because I understand that this is your perspective on the economy, but why are you still here? I mean, why are you still an American? Why do you still live in the United States if things are so bad?
Well, they're bad. I have family here. I have friends here. But, you know, I am setting up a business offshore, because the regulators are making it so difficult to expand a business in America. It's so difficult to hire people in America that I'm moving more of my hiring and capital investments to other countries. I mean, that's a wave. But, you know, it's not very easy. There are a lot of people who are leaving the country. And believe me, over the next few years, many, many more Americans are going to leave, particularly younger Americans who are looking to build a career, that want to succeed. They're going to be looking for opportunities in other countries, because those opportunities are going to be diminished in this country by a government that is layering more regulations on an already overregulated economy, and they refuse to let the market function.
Well, we always appreciate your perspective, and we do welcome you back, even if you want to do like a remote from that offshore place that you're going next time. Peter Schiff, thank you very much. We'll talk again soon. Thank you.
Sure.
right now more than ever, the public needs to hear this.
The conspiracy against your money.
This is why we're here, so we can address the issue before it's too late.
As you've probably noticed, we are living through an economic disaster unlike anything the world has ever seen. People are losing their homes at record rates. Household and government debt is exploding. Good people we love and care about are losing their jobs and their savings. The middle class is shrinking and is in great danger of disappearing altogether. My name is Andrew Cass. As you'll soon see, there is indeed a conspiracy. It's been pulled over the eyes of honest, hardworking citizens like you and me by the people in power. They've kept us in the dark far too long, and we've paid for it far too dearly. But now it's our turn, and it's not too late. We know what happened to your money. We know who took it. And if you're the type of person who's willing to take a stand for yourself, with courage, integrity, and a self-made resolve, we know exactly what you can do about it. You see, most will never have the opportunity to pull back the curtain and look behind it like you are about to. By the end of this DVD, you will know who is taking your money and what you can do about it starting today.